Here. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the lineup. I'm Rick Goff, and tonight we have a special guest joining us, former Major League Baseball player for the New York Yankees and the Boston Red Sox, Michael Coleman. Mike, thanks for being here, man. I really appreciate the time.
Absolutely, Rick. Thanks. Been a while since we talked.
We've both been in the youth baseball business for a long time. What do you see as the direction of youth baseball today? To say, back when you first got into it 15, 20 years ago, whatever the case may be, how do you see that direction of youth baseball now?
Like back then, even before Perfect Game, U-Trip had it boxed in everywhere. And that was the era I came in up in coaching. And then Perfect Game trickled in here, there. We heard about it a little bit. But as long as I've done it, and this ain't to toot your horn, of all the tournaments that I've done, you probably put on the best tournament because it was managed well from top to bottom. When we had that meeting to start the tournament, the coaches meeting, and you pick the names out of a hat, I mean, you couldn't ask for nothing being more fair. I mean, you draw who you get, the time, team, and let's go play ball. It was, I mean, you still had your whining and complaining about little things, but you got past that. But it let me know that certain people you deal with can actually do this at a high level and are respected. And I still hear about it sometime when people are talking about travel ball select, or they'll say something about Perfect Game. And I got a story here and there about TBS and Rick Goff, this or that. So you can say what you want, but I can 100% stand by this man and how he runs the tournament and respected and whatnot, because I was there and I dealt with it. Regardless of we won or lost, he was always there for the coaches when we needed them, good or bad. And there was never a lot of drama going on. At least I didn't see it. And the way it's going now, man, every dad, hell, in Nashville, everybody got a travel team because their kid couldn't play shortstop. So you go create a whole new team just so your kid can play short and bat leadoff. But they don't understand. They're talking to me to travel ball, and I think I may be the wrong one they're talking about, because it'll be their rec ball team that draws a team like M3 in pool play. And they got no idea what they're in for. They call it travel ball, but are they really traveling? No, they're still in Nashville. They don't know what it is to go to the shipyard, all the places that we know of that are super nice. They stay around here in Nashville. Travel ball was not like it was when I grew up. Now, hell, it's almost like it's commercial now. It's what it is. It's fun.
Do you think the state of travel ball the way it is, and the experience that you just brought up, and first of all, let me say thanks for the kind words about the TBS tournament. I really appreciate it. But do you think that the travel ball world the way it is now is killing and hurting the local parks and rec youth leagues?
100%, absolutely destroying it. Little League, and don't get me wrong, let me word this correctly. Politically correct. I like all baseball. Fortunately, you got travel and you got Little League. Different rules. So when I got kids coming here and they're playing Little League during the week so they can get their allotted games in, because they're all dreaming about going to the Little League World Series. Right. But on the other hand, I got full-fledged travel ball kids playing by big boy rules. Well, parents wanting me to teach, sir, I can't teach you those things because he's not in those things. It would make better sense. He's about to go through a full Little League season. He's not leading off the bases. He can't steal until the ball crosses the plate. He's not doing nothing that we do on this side. So when them Little League kids come to travel ball for a weekend, some of them are completely lost. And trying to get them sped up, which is what I do every day, just teaching kids the game the right way and having fun with it. But I have that dilemma with kids chasing Williamsport. Well, I feel like travel ball's got Williamsports all over the place. But I get the thing, you're on TV, but hell, we got TV too in certain aspects. Not like how they're broadcasting Little League World Series and the commentators we see on MLB Network that are doing the broadcast and whatnot. But we got just as much pool and pop out there as the whole Little League thing. The Little League thing is what, for a month, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, if that.
Right.
We got from what, late, well, depending on what state you're in. You could be January, Florida or California, Texas, and run all the way through the whole year and play. So we get to do it all year long, damn near, depending on where you are. as opposed to just kids chasing a month or so for the Little League World Series, if you're lucky enough to get there. But what they don't understand, that was my bad. What a lot of parents don't understand is that the majority of these Little League kids play travel ball.
Yeah, you see more and more of that. You see more and more of that
Yes.
today than you did back then. But it's an interesting wording that you use, that these parents are chasing Little League. I find it, don't you find it though, that there's some high level travel ball players and teams that are chasing, whatever the end of the season tournament is, whether it's
Right.
a TBS national
WWBA,
championship
yes,
or
any of
PGA,
those, yes.
and there's, without mentioning any names or teams or anything else, there's
Right.
teams out there, Michael, that
Yeah.
pay for kids to fly, and they pay for kids to for their hotels and stuff. I mean,
Hey, it's
people
funny you
do it.
bring that up because at my facility, I've got 4 kids that played on one of them teams, and they flew all over the place. And guess what? This year, they're not even part of that team anymore. They're somewhere else.
Yeah, it's almost like you're going to the highest bidder, and we're talking about 10, 11, 12-year-old kids. Now, listen, if you're truly shorthanded a weekend and you need somebody to fill in,
Right.
that's one thing.
That's one
That's
thing.
one thing. But to pick and choose and to call up a kid to have him fly across the country for a tournament, man, I just
It's
and
free
that's why
agency.
I know at 11,
It's
12,
free,
13
free
years old.
agency for youth. And let me not just say youth. These parents know what they're doing. You know exactly what you're doing. The average parent cannot afford to play high level travel ball. The average parent has no idea what high level travel ball is.
Well, let's face it. I mean, most of these kids probably will never make it past college. All right.
Nope.
Not all of them, but some of them. But
Right.
there's also some stories where these kids do in fact make it. Bryce Harper is a prime example.
Yeah.
Bryce Harper as a youth was a hired gun. He traveled
Yeah.
all over the country and played for different teams.
Well, Mookie
So
played on different teams.
Mookie
Good for him
Betts.
if you can do that and get those reps in that you probably wouldn't get somewhere else. I think Mookie went to Cooperstown twice because teams wanted him and they put the bill to bring that type of player there. That's part of it. I mean, I knew even when I had to pick up players, if that kid was that good and he was going to make a difference in my team, you foot the bill. You don't even question it. I got it. We're good. Simple as
I
that.
know it happens, but man, what does that say about the state of youth
I
baseball?
it
The
it's been
purity.
like that for a while, and it's only going to get to the point to where it's like NIL for youth.
It's getting worse, isn't it? It's getting
So
worse.
kids aren't going to visit these colleges because they got nice scenery and greenery and shrubbery. They want to know how much you're getting paid, and look what it did to Saban. That's the conversation. How much are you paying me? I could care less about the end of your weight room, all that stuff. Let's talk money right now. Now you're having that conversation with an 18-year-old.
Ran Saban out of the game, didn't it?
Ran him out the game, and I'm a huge Bama fan. Even though he lost to Michigan, hey, I still support our guys. But until they put a cap on this is going to be out of hand.
Can you fix it? Can they fix it?
How?
That's kind of my point. I mean, it's
How?
like
And you're dealing with look at Texas. They got long money. Longhorns got long money, and it's all about the booster club because that's who's footing this bill. It ain't coming out of Saban's pocket.
look how much
Deion
money
Sanders'
Arch Manning
pocket.
was making.
Oh my God! Look at Nico, Tennessee. How do you get $8 million as an 18-year-old? What's the incentive to go pro?
They've let the proverbial cat out of the bag, and I don't think you can put it
Oh,
back in.
it ain't coming back in right now. Some coaches are fine with it; they deal with it. Old school coaches like Saban, it just ran him out the game.
Yeah.
He could have coached more years if he wanted to. He was healthy enough to do that. But them and I watched his last interview. Them conversations, he said, it hurt his heart. It took the love of the game out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're not committing to Alabama now because you love Alabama and you love the history and Bear Bryant and the lore. You're coming to Alabama because you can get paid. That's simple.
And you don't even have to get drafted. You're talking about you're still carrying books to school.
Yeah.
And it's not going to change. And hey, I remember when all this started years ago, when they hit the Supreme Court with this. I remember it to this day. I never thought it would be like this. I thought it'd be like stipends or something like that. Help you get by, a little pocket change. Oh, we got more than pocket change. These dudes riding around in Lamborghinis and Range Rovers and $2 million houses, and it's absolutely nuts.
That's what they should have done, Michael. They should have started it out as a stipend. Started out small, right?
And gradually,
Under, under deliver, over promise, or whatever the terminology is there. Under deliver or under.
I just had a conversation 4 days ago with a well-known coach. He's a Hall of Famer. Won't say his name or his team, but they do really well and they've won a lot. And he said that we make it simple. Yes, NIL is here. We're not running from it, but we give all of them the same thing. Either you take it or you don't.
Well,
like, wow, I didn't look at it that way.
Think about all that money that's going around. And yes, did the NCAA make a lot of money off of selling
millions?
Johnny Manziel
Yes.
And they did, right? Okay. So let's figure out a way as a college athlete yourself, when you were in college, if someone would have handed you a check for $5,000, wouldn't you have been happy?
Gone. I'm at the nearest mall, or I didn't put a down payment on a car or something. But under the table stuff has been going on for centuries.
Well, I understand that. I know some guys,
and that just depends on the type of player you are. Obviously, the superstars or the high tiered player, they get a little bit more concessions than your average player. But when you're dealing with Arch Mannings and whatnot, Arch don't have to leave Texas because he's financially stable. He can leave Texas because he wants to go start somewhere next year, if he wanted to. I didn't even see him staying once Quinn decided he was going to stay. I just knew that's what he was waiting on. That was confirmation. Now he's going somewhere, an even more higher bidder. Now he start, or at least the opportunity to start. So why he's staying there? Well, I guess you're comfortable. You're not hurting for any money.
But my problem with the youth game, and I know this all ties back, and I keep going back to the youth game, is the youth players see this, right? They see the Arch Mannings.
The parents see it.
And they see Tommy in baseball, Tommy Tanks.
Yeah.
They see
LSU, White.
LSU,
yep.
Yeah. Tommy White, thank you, sorry.
Yep.
And so these kids see this, right? So what do? What do all kids do? They emulate that, right?
Yeah.
So just because that's going on in college, kids want this to happen in the youth game.
Absolutely. I mean, the swag itself has trickled down from the big leagues to college into these youth kids. 100%.
Where I was going with it.
It wasn't like that back then. I mean, you had.
I flew to Houston a couple of weeks ago to watch a tournament down there. A lot of the top teams in the country were there.
And I know you saw it everywhere.
And Michael, everywhere. I mean, just the stuff that the kids were wearing and the bats they were swinging, and it was.
Man, it is insane. The pencil bat, the new one. The
what?
other orange bat, you got the pencil bat, the BB core, and now you got the orange one that everybody bought in the summer. It kept breaking, but if you hit it, that thing is absolutely launched.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, I got a shirt back there now. Don't that $500 bat with that 50-cent swing.
Yeah.
But I don't care. Kids are coming here and ask me about this bat. Well, I mean, if you got the mechanics to swing it and your mom don't mind spending $500 for it, go for it.
And the elbow guards and the shin guards.
They got everything.
And
the necklaces. But my thing was, I know when I was coaching, the umpires would cut that off on no jury. Yeah. And I loved it because I didn't have to deal with it.
Yeah.
Because so many times I've seen a kid slide, it snapped, it's on the field, little pearls running all over the place.
Yep.
Take it off, we ain't got to deal with it. But now they got hoodies on now, like lightweight hoodies when they're playing. They got rags or whatever hanging out their back pockets. Like, damn, what am I missing?
I watched a 12-year-old kid in Houston, and this is no joke, Michael. I watched a 12-year-old kid in Houston. He stepped out of the batter's box to fix his necklaces. He called time to fix his necklaces and to readjust his elbow guard and his shin guard to get back in the box. And I said, Lord, help me, please. What is going on?
And I got little kids in here walk in with this stuff. You got 9-year-olds. Why do you have an arm guard, leg guard, and all this stuff?
some of these guys are more they're more well equipped than the catcher.
Oh my God, yes. Yes, they are. And I've got some that the mechanics are so bad. I'm gonna send you a video off when we get off this. You're gonna lose it. Because this kid's got everything. Dad sent me a video from Jackson, Tennessee. Oh my God. I've watched this video, I bet 50 times. This is just gonna absolutely just I don't get it. I get it, but I don't get it because the parents gotta buy the stuff.
Yeah.
Now, me knowing what I know, my kid ain't you know, unless you physically keep getting hit in the box for whatever reason, maybe. But just to be buying it so you can look good, that ain't what's getting you drafted, getting you looked at by these coaches.
Michael, I back in my day, and I'm a little bit older than you, and I remember I went
We
to my
didn't have
dad.
all that.
I went to my dad to buy me a baseball bat. I was 13 years old, and he bought me the Green Easton.
Oh yeah, the
Remember
green and silver one, yeah.
the green and silver
They had
Easton, right?
that in
That's
the
what he
Black
bought me.
Magic. Yeah.
I didn't have the Black Magic. I had the Green Easton. I was 13 years old. Guess what bat I was swinging when I was 17?
Same bat.
I was swinging the Green Easton.
Hey, money grows on trees now. You can go out here and pluck it down.
And I can
Yep.
only imagine if I'd have went to my father when I was 14 or 15 years old, asked him to buy me a new bat, he would have looked at me like I'd lost my mind.
I've got a kid here and I love him to death. He's one of my favorites. But this kid has about $2,000, $2,500 in bats.
Oh Lord.
Plays on a really good travel team that we know, the former big league coach. I laugh. I joke with him all the time. Every week he comes because he'll walk in that door with 5 or 6 bats, all different drops. Now, hold on. One thing we didn't talk about was the whole reclass thing. That wasn't a thing back then.
Oh Lord. Michael, I don't know if
That's the thing. We ain't got
I don't
enough
know if we
time
got
for
enough
that
time to get into that.
because that's a whole nother issue.
You know, reclass
Like,
has a purpose.
yeah, it does.
I'll make this really,
But
really
are
short
they
and sweet.
using the purpose for the right thing?
Bingo. That is what the $1 million question
Education
is.
purposes or sports reasons?
Most of them nowadays are sports reasons.
You hold your kid back. He's 6 foot freaking 3. He goes back in the 5th grade. He looks like a freaking mammoth over these little kids. What are you doing here? Why are we stopping his growth? I got a kid now. I just argued with the kid. Kid played 11U travel ball. Pretty good team. Absolutely killed it, dominated. Well, I threw out the thing like, you know what? If you ever get an opportunity, man, you may want to try to get some pickup games, stay with your team, but get some 13U games. I said, there's nothing you need to do at 12U that you ain't already done. Hitting your 200-foot home runs, you don't need that. This ain't for your development. Go get a year ahead on the big field. It'll put you ahead of where you need to be.
Right.
Well, I get a phone call a couple weeks later. He calls me to tell me that he decided he's going to go back to the 12U team because he wants to have fun. My response was, no, it's not you want to have fun. You want to go hit home runs on 200-foot fences.
Yeah, I don't understand it. Michael, it used to be the reclassing was happening in high school.
Oh, it's 4th, 5th, 6th grade. It's
even lower than that.
it's big business. They got a plan of what they're doing.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the half of the draft is reclass, if not more than half. It's like it's common, but the reason they're doing it is not for school reasons.
No. It's becoming as common as elective Tommy John surgery. That's another one, right?
Oh man. Jesus,
Michael,
this could go on for hours.
This could, and I don't want to take up no more of your time. You've been gracious
you're
enough to
good.
give us some of your time, man. And maybe we follow up and do a
absolutely whenever you're
one.
ready. Because I'm normally free during the day because I don't start till the afternoon. You just let me know when.
Man, this is great stuff. I'm sure everybody's going to get a real pleasure and a real joy out of watching this because informative things like this from people that are on the inside is what these people need to hear. And I'm very appreciative for you taking the time to join us.
Oh,
today.
absolutely. And that's why I'm talking to you from here and not on the field somewhere, because when you're dealing with entitled parents, it gets tough. You got to make a decision. And I found myself going home arguing with my wife about shit she had nothing to do with.
You know what?
It's time for you to make a decision.
I'm sure if I talk to my wife, she would hear some same things. I've argued with
Oh
her
my
about
God.
something she has no. He was 3,000 miles away from the problem.
No, nothing to do with it. I should be asking how your day's going. I'm talking about somebody getting thrown out of a game, and she's looking at me like I'm just a different color because she don't care
She
at all,
don't care.
at all,
She's listening, but she ain't listening.
at all, at all.
Well, hey, listen, I want to thank Michael Coleman for taking some time out here to share his views and his opinions on the state of Major League Baseball, youth baseball, and everything in between. Michael, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And I can't wait
Absolutely.
till we do this again.
I appreciate it, Rick. We'll talk soon.
All right.